Hey, this is Ben from Boss Construction, your South Florida permitting and code compliance specialist. I'm here to listen and talk to an expert, Claudienne Hibbert-Smith. Thank you for coming today, Claudienne.
Thank you for having me.
I've known Claudienne. We've known each other for 10 years.
Is it been 10
at least
years?
Maybe a little bit more that I've been following you.
Okay.
I met you when I worked for Miami Gardens in the NSP program.
I was a realtor for Miami Gardens.
And you were doing real estate. And I didn't know anything about real estate at that point because I was a planning professional.
Okay.
But besides the point, the city was buying houses.
That's right.
And it was very important that we engage certain professionals to do that. And at that point, I wasn't in the real estate profession, didn't know anything about real estate, and saw you actively participating and buying properties for the city. And you didn't need to be a realtor to know the market was at a downturn at that point.
No, you didn't.
But yeah, no, we were doing really, really amazing things. How did you get to that opportunity to be able to do that?
I paid attention. And so I'm glad you asked me that question because a lot of people don't understand the power of going to their city council meetings. And so if you can't,
That's okay.
if you can't get to your city council meetings, that's fine because the agendas are still there.
Uh-huh.
And so I constantly look at the websites of different cities and municipalities.
Sure.
And they have their agendas there. And
Sure.
under there, they also have RFPs of what the,
Requests for proposals.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I just know that from being government.
Right. Request for proposals, sorry.
Yeah.
And so we call it an RFP for short. And I saw the opportunity there, and
Yeah.
I filled out that application, and the rest was history.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And again, not only knowing about the local area, working with the city,
Right.
it's just an amazing synthesis.
Right.
And then you fit yourself as a professional, as an entrepreneur, and the whole goal of the program was homeownership.
Right.
Which is what we talk about, first-time home buyers. I know you're involved in NARAB, and Jeff Corleone got us involved.
That's right.
And then he brought me back to you.
Yes.
So no,
He did.
that's really amazing. And
Yes.
who inspired you? Who's inspired you? I mean, a lot of interviewers they interview entrepreneurs. I mean, and not all entrepreneurs are hustlers, but I consider you an entrepreneur hustler, and that's the notes that I jotted down before this meeting. Who's inspired you? What's given you your spice, your jazz?
So I think it's innate.
Okay.
I've always been very competitive.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah.
I can remember, and I'll call her name out, Janika Berry, who's
Okay.
just recently been my client. She
Cool.
sold her house and bought a new one with her husband.
Nice.
And I can remember us in 5th or 6th grade,
Yeah.
completing our math exam and who was going to be first, and not only first, but who was going to have 100%.
Yeah.
So I've always innately had this go factor.
Yeah.
And I can tell you how I transitioned into real estate a little bit, and that part of me helped me to become who I am today. And so
Santiago, my audio's okay. It slipped off, right? That's okay? Okay, good. I'm sorry.
That's
sorry.
okay.
Yeah.
So I'd be honest with you, and I always tell this story, money actually motivated me to be in real estate.
Okay.
I was 21 years old. I had an opportunity to look at what we called then the HUD.
Okay.
I saw that there was a $40,000, $50,000 commission.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, wait a minute. I made
Yeah.
this in an entire year. You mean to tell me we walked into this community, we picked out a house.
Yeah.
The people there I felt didn't do much of anything.
Yeah.
Because it was like a planned development. You
Yeah.
just go and you pick your model and
Yeah.
you pick your upgrades, you
Yeah.
pick your lot. They were there already.
Yeah. It's cookie cutter.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that, and I'm not encouraging anybody to do what I did.
Sure.
I'm very, very ashamed of it today.
Sure.
But at 21, I just quit my job.
All right.
I don't even think I gave them a 2-week notice.
Yeah.
I didn't even take the real estate exam.
Yeah.
I just quit.
Was it was it like a Wolf of Wall Street thing? Like, you show me what you're making right now?
No.
And no.
I just saw it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I love the money.
Yeah. Okay.
So what happened was, as I was making the money, I'm 21 years old.
Yeah.
Now I started following people who were investing. I became an investor at 21 too by default.
Were you a homeowner at that point?
No.
You were not. You were an investor before you were a homeowner.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So
I like that.
So I started to think, okay, I like this profession,
but
I don't want to be in sales for the rest of my life. So what is it that I can create for myself to have some passive income.
And what's very interesting about most agents is, and people in the real estate profession in general, not even retail real estate, is they're constantly, again, there's a top percentage of agents doing most of the business. The other agents, there's a lot of licensed agents. So again, I was one myself. So it's kind of like an income roller coaster. And the point that I'm trying to make is that you don't realize that, you know, your rental income property is right under your nose, and you're and you're looking for investments all the time, and you're a part of that. You're dealing with that.
So at the age of 21, I bought my first duplex. Very excited.
Nice.
You know, I remember going in at 3% down. I think the seller gave me money towards they helped me with my closing costs. And that was my pride and joy, right?
Do you still own it to this day?
I just sold it recently.
Nice.
I just sold it recently, made a chunk of money.
Nice.
But that's
long term.
That's long term. However, there was a reason why I did sell that property, and we don't have to talk about that.
Okay.
But
cool.
That might just be too drawn out. But that is literally everything that we own. We don't own anything with a single door. And so when I became a realtor, I don't even know where I got the ideal from. I just knew that I was going to turn 40 and 50 at one point, and I didn't want to.
You don't look it.
Thank you.
You look great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was.
That means a lot to me. No. Hold on, wait. Okay. I got to touch on that.
Okay.
Because I was just 30 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
I'm still a little bit overweight.
I am. Yeah.
And I just lost 21 pounds in less than 3 weeks.
You look awesome.
Give me some thumbs up.
And feeling youthful and great is a really big point to the business.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we get a lot of stress. So
Were you always into wellness when you were 21?
No.
Were you look?
You kidding me? I was eating this and that.
It didn't matter.
Right.
It didn't matter. Yeah.
But I tell you that. I lost my train of thought. I did.
Cool. Okay.
I'm working on it.
We're shifting. We can shift around.
Yes.
It's fun.
But what was the last thing you just said?
We were talking about your rental income property. We were talking about your start in real estate and you looking for long plans, long term, meaning you buying a rental income property.
Right.
That was probably workforce housing that you would have over a long term and prepare for the future.
Right. So
that's what you're talking about.
I do want to.
I was listening. My wife, I was listening.
I don't remember I still don't remember what I was about to say in that moment, but it's okay.
Okay.
But I do want to go back because money did motivate me to become a realtor.
Okay.
But it was very short lived.
Okay.
So about a year and a half into being a real estate agent, and by the way, I was #1 in the company. My first year in real estate, the rising star, I was very excited. But then I realized a lot of my peers did not own homes.
Okay.
And so my goals shifted a little bit.
Yeah.
So the money is what got me into the business. I realized there was no ceiling and no one telling me, oh, this year you're going to make this much. It all depended on what I did, what I produced, and what work I was willing to put in.
Yeah.
You know, everybody knows that I had my son at 14.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of things going on, right? And so when I realized my peers, my friends, my immediate family members, some of them did not own homes.
And they're making good money.
The goal.
They could be, right?
Right. They were teachers. They were
they're
professionals.
They're creative class professionals.
Absolutely. 21, 22, 23. And I'm saying to myself, wait, there's a disparity here. What is it that I can do to motivate the people that are my age at the time to buy? And so you hear me talk about homeownership.
Yeah.
You also hear me talk about investing, which is another important piece.
I wasn't
we just
thinking
talked
about that when I was I wasn't thinking about real estate when I was 20 years old. I was thinking about undergrad and school when I was up in Tampa. But the bottom line is what's really cool is everyone came from different directions. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, success is what you make it.
Exactly. And so, just moving along and talking about the investments, I knew that was going to be a way of my retirement. Mm-hmm. I knew that I could make a lot of money in real estate, pay off mortgages, pay my house off, and just do so many things. And so I'm very excited to be here. I'm continuing the mission. 1,000 families and homes, 1,000 homeowners.
Nice.
And so I'm really, really excited about that.
And that's very interesting. I mean, again, my wife's family has real estate. I help them manage that real estate. So, we've seen a lot of trends in the housing market. Again, you talk about your $1,200, $1,400 rentals, your workforce housing. We've seen a lot of shift from these rental communities that are holding people hostage. I've even seen, as rents go up from those rental communities, people paying higher rent moved into lower rent areas. So you saw a lot of movement.
Whatever goes up always comes down.
But what I've seen,
and what comes down always got to go back up.
But rents can only get so high as people could afford to pay.
Right.
So it's just.
So it's all about. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because when you look at it from a financial perspective, you got to make sure you're always buying right. So a lot of people hear me say that all the time. You've got to buy right. Especially if you're looking at, I don't even care if it's your house that you live in.
Yeah.
You need to be in a position that if you need to sell 2 and 3 years from now.
And you don't want to be house poor or.
Not even, but you need to be able to make sure that you're going to make some money out of that sale.
Correct.
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
So I just bought we didn't just buy, but we bought about 3 or 4 years ago. We bought at such a great price. And I just be transparent. We spent almost $500,000. Our house now is worth upwards of $800,000. But I consider the buy, we bought right. We bought with equity in our house when we actually physically bought it. And so I want to touch too on how are you able to survive? This is huge, and I'm doing a huge seminar on this because I'm sick of seeing it, right? And so a lot of people, it's not just realtors, it's across the board. We spend before we make. We spend before we make, and we don't manage our finances.
Yes.
And so you said something very key. The real estate market does this.
Well, and I was also saying agents' incomes also roller coaster.
Right. So
it's not stable. We want.
Listen, if the market goes down, I can tell you our commissions are going to go down. I felt that in 2007 and 8. Correct. I literally went from making $400,000 at the time, and sales, to literally, I remember it like it was like yesterday. My 1099s were about $58,000. Do you know how drastic that is?
That's a huge disparity.
That's not my rental properties.
Yeah, that's your real.
Can you imagine that if my expenses were here and my income was here?
Yeah.
How that would affect my lifestyle? Yeah. And I'm just glad to say that it didn't, because we had our finances in check.
But also, you have other things. You have your small fruits, your big fruits. You have other things.
2007. Now I became a realtor in 2001. So obviously, where I am today. I was not there in 2007. I was still growing. We were still buying properties. Yeah. We still had mortgages back then, and so it was a scary feeling. But it wasn't scary in the event that I'm going to lose everything. Okay. Right? And so we were able to maintain. I've never had a lifestyle that was here with my income being here, and I'm just playing catch up. And so I think that's very important when people are looking at buying. If you're a married couple, or if you're together in your house, you really want to live off of one income. And you want to buy a house, and that mortgage should be paid by one person's income.
And I have one question. So actually, going to homeowners and going to investors. First, homeowners. And you list all ranges of properties.
Absolutely.
Meaning you list luxury, high-end properties.
Absolutely.
You list $300,000 houses.
Absolutely.
Right now, I always tell, people should stay in a large shirt, meaning the $400,000 price point, because it's affordable and you're less likely to see depreciation. Is that right? Or
no,
everything has its upside. It's a different flavor.
I don't care where you are in the U.S. When the market shifts, everybody gets to shift.
Yeah.
When it shifts up, everybody gets to shift. Some higher than others. But when you look at percentages, they're typically the same. What do I mean by that? So I can buy a house right now for $1 million that's worth $1.5 million. I look at the percentage of that. I can also buy a house at $100,000 and flip it at $300,000, and the percentages are the same. Sure. I could look at what a market in the $3 million range was. Now those houses are selling, let's just say I'm making this up right now, for $1.5 million. Yeah. That percentage of a drop is the same percentage of drop
Yeah.
when you're looking at 300,000.
But there's less buyers in that price. I don't know. I always had that maybe.
It is, but it doesn't affect the drop. If you're making $1 billion and now you're making millions of dollars, that is going to affect the billionaire. We don't look at it that way because we don't have billions in our bank account.
Correct.
But everybody's affected.
And
the billionaire isn't living in the $300,000 home. His home is worth millions of dollars.
And sometimes they're even worth more.
Right.
Or sometimes a millionaire could be spending $2 million. Like everyone has a different on every level.
Right.
Sari and I, we rent. And we've been encouraged to become investors.
Okay.
What is, my father-in-law, he says, Ben, you're 34 years old. Even if as long as you get, not a luxury rental, but a $1,200 to $1,500 rental or a building that houses these, even if you're just covering it and not making any return.
I don't agree with that.
You don't agree with that?
Absolutely not. I'm in business for today and tomorrow.
Okay.
I need money today.
Okay.
Because I got to live.
Yeah.
You got to eat. You
Yeah.
got to feed your family.
Yeah. So if it doesn't make a return today,
I don't look at it.
You don't look at it.
I need to see numbers today. What am I making today?
Yeah.
And what is my portfolio going to make in the future when I sell?
So he told me simply because for me, I'm 70 years old. Speaking to my father-in-law,
okay.
He's looking for return today. But for you, you're younger. He said, and these
Hold on, let me ask you a question. Yeah. You buy a property.
Yeah.
It's just covering itself today.
The rental, they're expensive.
Let's just say it's just covering itself for today.
Meaning I'm just
You're not making any money.
I'm carrying the property.
10 years from now, you need to sell, but the market's gone in a different direction.
You have nothing.
So you don't make any money today.
You have no return. You have no appreciation.
Right. So that theory does not make sense for me.
Okay, cool.
When I look at a property, I don't even go to the property until I look at the numbers.
Okay.
When I look at the numbers, then I decide if I'm going to go and look at the property.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
It's all about the numbers.
It's all about the numbers.
It's not about, again, the numbers have to work based off your formula and what you need.
No, it's not my formula. It's a formula that's been out there. It's your rate of return. Like, I didn't create the formula.
Okay.
I just know what numbers make sense to me.
As a business woman and business person.
And I give you an example. We bought a duplex for $60,000, 3-1 on each side. We rented out for $1,300, $1,400 on each side.
And these things
That's a no-brainer.
And these things in Miami-Dade and Broward, like all I've seen since I got my real estate license is the rental market go up. And I saw Invitation Homes and Stellar and all these people getting into the market. But all I've seen is, and some people say, the people can only afford to pay so much. So how much more can it go up?
So you've got to be a little bit more creative.
Okay.
You know, the good deals aren't really on the market. And it's the truth. If you call me today, I'm going to tell you that the market, the good crop of properties are not listed by agents. Why?
This is awesome advice, by the way, for our viewers. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but like, I don't know how we got, I just love the business and the real estate and talking about this.
Oh, yeah. So, I just lost my train of thought because he interrupted me.
It was my fault.
Right. The ADD is kicking in.
Yeah.
Right? But you definitely just want to look at the numbers. You want to look at the numbers and you want to plan ahead. And so what I was saying is that you've got to go, and let me tell you, the first 10 years of my career, I knocked on doors. I cold call like crazy. I knocked on doors.
So you created inventory?
Absolutely. Because if I'm not a part of the solution, you're never going to hear me say what the other thousands of realtors are saying. Oh, there's no inventory. There's no inventory. No, the person with the solution is going to make the most money.
Correct.
They're going to make the most deals.
Correct.
So if I go out there and I create the inventory, which means I got to do a little bit more work, especially in today's market, because we have this many realtors that don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
We just put a cash offer on the property. They don't want to take full price. They don't want to take the offer because they haven't found another property yet. I said, are you kidding me? Man, I would have strategized all around that.
They don't have a toolbox.
Guess what? We'll let you stay in the property for 30 to 60 days after closing. Post-occupancy agreement. Yeah. Just leave $15,000 in escrow so that we can assure. That we can assure that you leave the house at least broom swept, clean, and in decent order. Like, people don't strategize.
Is that from your experience in your leadership roles? Is that a a common sense thing, a broker thing, a realtor, or being educated as a realtor?
The person with the solutions is going to make the most progress, period. I don't know if I learned it in a book.
Okay.
I'm not a reader. I'm just starting to read in my 40s.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. I'm not reading a book a week. I won't lie and tell you that.
Do you read personal or
No, I don't read any personal
Or do you
books.
read industry stuff? Like industry related? Yeah.
And self-grow.
Okay, cool.
So I do a little bit
Nice.
of both. But I'm not like, I don't have 4 books on the side of my bed.
Yeah.
They're in front of the TV somewhere.
Yeah.
It's with some dust.
Yeah.
But I don't read as much as maybe I should read.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's something that's innate or something I've just heard along the way. Maybe my subconscious. I'm just a believer of, I want to come up with solutions. I have a creative brain.
You care about the community?
I want to do everything with excellence. I want to do it to the best of my ability. I do care about my community.
No, but you don't. I know you're South Floridian, right?
I am. I was born in New York.
Okay.
I stayed there for 6 months, and then my mom migrated here.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
No,
so
but
I don't ask me anything about New York. My birth certificate says New York, but I am from Carroll City.
That's all. No, that's awesome. And you have a vested interest in the community.
Absolutely.
You're here to stay. Your family's in the community.
Absolutely.
We see in South Florida a lot of people transient from New York or other areas of the world. But it's always nice because our entrepreneurs who have their money in South Florida, have the investment in South Florida, they're not shifting, they're not transitioning. You're here to stay.
This is why I'm here to stay. I'm from a place called Carroll City.
Yeah.
Which is now Miami Gardens.
Incorporated Miami Gardens,
Okay, so it's Miami Gardens. And I went to Carroll City Elementary. I went to Lake Stavens Middle School, Norland Middle School. I went to American, I went to Norland, and I ended up at Carroll City for the last 3 years of my high school career. And I could tell you, Mr. Brown in elementary was no joke.
Yeah?
Okay, that was our principal at the time. Mr. Jimmy Lee Brown was our principal at Carroll City Elementary. And I am here today because of my educators, because of the people in the schools that really cared. It's not that my parents didn't care. They worked.
Yeah.
You know, my mom and dad had to work.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't spend all their time in school with me. And so I attribute, and my parents are from the Caribbean. They're from Jamaica.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I don't even know if they have high school degrees, to be honest.
Okay.
And so I attribute my success to the naysayers and the people literally that has just pushed me through. And I don't mean push, just get me out of school. I mean, they were there. They took me home most days. I had a son in the 9th grade. You know, I still went to school every day until it was time to give birth to him. I didn't miss a day of school. I've always maintained good grades.
But and also you've encouraged your son and members of your family. I mean, I mean, you're leading for a second generation of entrepreneurship, where most people just worry about, again, today. You're paving the way for the future.
It's bigger than me.
Yeah.
It is bigger than me today.
I like that.
It is bigger than me. It is bigger than us. And if we don't do what we're supposed to do today here on earth, what does the generation have to look up to? Right? And so we've got to pave the way. We've got to show them it's great to have money, but you've got to give back to your community.
Yeah.
So right now, I have a little thing going on.
Okay.
My high school, I sit on boards there, and I'm excited about that. And so I decided for the last quarter, I was giving a percentage of all of my commissions to Carroll City Senior High. And so if you're out there and you're looking for properties, give me a call.
That's awesome. And that's to fund the PTA or fund, what is that?
Whether the art teacher has a field trip.
That's amazing.
If the art teacher has a field trip, if the seniors have an activity, SGA has a calendar.
So you're giving back.
Absolutely.
To what helped you get to where you are.
Absolutely. Let me tell you, I had the girl with the most school spirit in high school. I was a class vice president.
Yeah.
You know, I just had a very good experience in high school.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, Miss Henry at the time, Miss Marielle Henry was our principal. She was like the Joe Clark.
Yeah.
Do you remember Lean on Me? Did you watch that?
Yeah.
Okay. She was the Joe Clark in our school, and she gave me an opportunity. When I got to the school, I had over 100 referrals in the system.
Yeah.
People always ask me, what are referrals? What are referrals? Don't worry about it. Don't get them.
Yeah.
They're to document your behavior, and it's not good behavior.
Yeah.
I had over 100 referrals in the system. And so she gave me a chance, and she let me into Carroll City Senior High, and so I remember that.
Yeah.
And so there are people.
Do you ever
out
go
there.
back there and go
I
do you go to
my
speak
school.
there? Do you go to
Absolutely.
Yeah, you do that? Yeah.
I go to pep rallies. I go
Yeah.
to our meetings.
Yeah.
I'm on the board here and
Yeah.
there.
No, but
You know,
I would always think, I mean, just the students hearing you speak and everything, you know, that would.
They get excited. You know, I was talking to a young lady the other day, and I don't think she realized who I was in the moment.
Yeah.
But she remembered me speaking from the year before,
Yeah.
and I was just casually outside
Yeah.
talking because I'm very, you know, I'm me.
Yeah.
You know,
You're approachable.
Yeah.
I come and talk to you.
Yeah,
You're
like
approachable.
we're just having casual
Yeah.
conversation. I'm asking about their lives, and I think something clicked for her. She was like, "Oh my God," and she just started crying. I was like, "What happened?" She was like, "I just realized who you were. Like
Yeah.
you spoke to us last year in the auditorium," and she's
That's
just
awesome.
bawling and crying. I'm like, "Oh my
That's
God,
awesome.
no, don't
Well,
cry."
no, because you influence so many people,
Yeah.
and you're in a fishbowl,
and you don't really realize
and it's not.
it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't realize that I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Because I'm just being me.
Yeah.
I
that's
just
awesome.
remember where I came from. I remember working at Albertsons at 15, and they would throw away the bread and they would throw away the meat at the end of the night. And I said, no. We have homeless people,
Yeah.
you know, on the street. And I would go back there and I make those sandwiches, and you know, my son and I would ride down 27th Avenue and pass them out to the people on the bus benches. And so it's always just been something that I've always loved to do. And I tell you, if I had to do a career, that would be it. I'd love to do that. When I retire officially, I will be the advocate in the community.
That's awesome.
Full time.
That's really cool.
I really love it.
I mean, and you know, like I could see you doing like, you know, leadership in local government or holding a mayorship position or something like that.
It's interesting that he says that because I get emails, hey, we're inviting all the dignitaries. I'm like, hold on, I'm not a dignitary. I'm just Claudienne Hibbert. Yeah. So
That's
you know,
awesome.
I'm just excited about life. My weight loss journey has been great.
Yeah.
Wellness. I've just been doing amazing.
Everyone says that it's all interrelated.
Yes.
Wellness, success, how you feel, how you interact with the community
and
and
you
your
might get
family.
this too, you know, when you're dealing with a divorced couple, when you're dealing with a family that has to go through probate because someone didn't set up their trust.
Yeah.
You know, when you're working with people who are just having a bunch of issues.
They're in hardship situations.
Yeah, it becomes sometimes draining.
Yeah.
And so I realized, you know, I wasn't, you know, waking up as early as I used to, and I was feeling a little sluggish.
Yeah.
You know, a girlfriend of mine called me up and said, hey, Claudienne, this is funny. She's like, you got to stop eating. You just got to do something. And so I just said, you know what? That was a wake-up call for me.
Yeah.
It was a wake-up. And, you know, my mom has Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm reading a lot about Alzheimer's now. And so I realized what we intake in our bodies affect our cognitive.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
I'm just really excited about life.
That's awesome.
About my next journey. And soon you'll see me on TV traveling the
And-
world.
No, absolutely. And I'm so again, you encouraged me and my business to get on social media.
Wow.
A year later, I'm here interviewing you, and our followers can share, and I am so happy. And it
Yo,
is,
give us some
it-
thumbs up.
It's
Thumbs
phenomenal.
up. Thumbs up.
But I really appreciate, you know, you coming here and allowing me to interview you today.
Thanks for having me.
And if you need, and again, if you need anything from any one of us, I always encourage people, if you see someone that motivates you, if you see someone providing you good content and something to relate with, you know, to follow them. And,
Right.
and you have a huge following on social media, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or any of those platforms. So you've influenced and engaged and encouraged and all of the above a lot of people. So I admire that, and I'm glad we did this today.
You'll see that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Claudienne. Well, thank you guys, and if you need an amazing Claudienne, amazing real estate professional, amazing entrepreneur, you can like her on Facebook, Instagram. You can contact her, and again, just a good friend. I've seen her out in the community. Again, if you need anything, if you need any support, advocacy, or encouragement, this is your person. This is your resource, and she can also point you in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Again,
I'm a resource.
Again, that's awesome.
I'm like an encyclopedia
That's
for this
awesome.
business. And so,
Yeah.
you know, if you would have told me 20 years ago I'd be here today, I'd say there's just no way.
Yeah.
And I tell you, people always ask me this, and I want to end with this. You know, how is it that you accomplish what you accomplish? You know, I wake up every morning. Yesterday was yesterday. I don't think about tomorrow. I think about what's going on today. And I just focus in on that day. You know, I don't really have a lot of fears. I block those out. You know, sometimes they come and I release them.
Do you work out in the beginning of the day or the end of the day?
Sometimes it depends.
It depends on how the day goes.
It depends on how the day goes.
I like
Sometimes
that.
I don't get up. I don't go to sleep until 2 a.m.
Okay.
I was supposed to take my husband to the airport.
Okay.
He Ubered instead.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't go to sleep until 3 a.m. in the morning. So, which means I still needed to get my 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep. And so, what I could tell you is just go for it.
Your formula for success, and I've watched you and follow you. Again, it changes, and the really cool thing is you're a hybrid. I've seen you morph in the morning. I've seen you out late evenings. Just doing.
Did you say more?
No, but no, not more.
More?
No, but just doing whatever it takes to get the job done.
Right.
And again.
That's key.
Again, not everyone has the ability to do those things, but again, you know, just to watch people lead and entrepreneurs, it's very encouraging to see someone who's able to do it, and maybe they can help transition and do things that they weren't able to do previously.
Right.
It's all on different levels.
Right.
And everyone has their different formula.
Yeah.
And yes, I am accepting of other people because, again, that's taken me a long time. Because I always was very judgmental, and I always thought there was one form. This person does it this way, so...
It's like raising kids. Where are you going to find a book that fits all?
No. Both my girl...
You have two kids
girls.
for the same parents.
Same parents.
And they're probably both different.
They're very different.
You know why? They both have different DNA. Well, probably have some combination of your DNA, but they all have different socials.
Different.
So they're different. So how you handle one, you may not handle the other.
Yeah.
One may be energetic. One might speak calm.
Yeah.
One might need more attention than the other. And so there's no right or wrong. It's what's fitting you and your personality. There are some people that don't want to get on social media. That's fine.
Sure.
I know people that are very successful that are not on social media.
Okay.
You know, it's just what works for you. But consistency and whatever you're doing is key.
Meaning, if you're going to do social media, you should do it often or not do it at all.
If you're not on social media and what you're doing is working for you, then you want to consistently.
I heard that a lot going back to real estate, I heard that a lot about in farming a community. You don't just.
Absolutely.
This isn't like a 1 week decision. This is a long-term commitment.
You've got to farm. It used to say 6 months. I say 8 months before you get
Do they still call it farming?
It's farming.
Oh, farming. Okay, I'm good. I'm right.
Even when you're on Instagram and Facebook, that's farming.
Yeah, okay.
Your audience is just different.
Okay. That's cool.
And I tell you this, I have worked with some older people in their 70s and 80s, and they found me on Facebook.
That's awesome.
So we put all these negative thoughts. Oh, that population of people are not there. People want to feel young. They want to feel inviting. So get there, do what it is that you're going to do. And if you're not on social media selling something or telling people about your service, you're wasting your time.
Okay. And could we again, this turned into more of a conversation, but maybe one day or in a couple months we could talk again, because I really had a fun time, and I know from our likes and our viewers and our followers that they had a fun time listening too.
All right.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye, guys.
And we will keep up with you and see you on the flip. And again, you know, it won't hurt you if you are on social media and you are watching this to like us and follow us. Thank you so much, Claudienne. Thank you. We're good.